A dead Ankylosaurus has been here since last week, and scavengers have been tearing through it. Right now, an Ornitholestes has claimed the corpse. However, when it starts to get dusk like this, there's a lot of other scavengers that come out of the woodwork at night to try and feed. The Ornitholestes has some competition, although it isn't too major usually. But tonight will be different, for competition is coming, but it's much different than any the Ornitholestes has faced yet. The ever-strange Coelurus. This tiny predator travels in groups of 2 to 5. With strange patterns and even more bizarre behaviors, the Coelurus is pretty well known for being somewhat of a unicorn amongst the dinosaur community. One of the earlier Ingen clones, only a handful of these creatures were made, and a few of them have died since then, obviously. But despite its rarity, the Ornitholestes is at first somewhat worried. However, the Ornitholestes and Coelurus have a specific bond, and it's one of the many peculiar things about the animal that we'll dive into. You see, there's a very complex process when it comes to the Ornitholestes taking down kills. Ornitholestes possess venom, meaning whenever they are tearing into a carcass, it now is somewhat poisoned. But Coeluruses seem to have a natural tolerance to this poisoning and can still eat the carcass alongside the Ornitholestes. Since the carcass is now poisoned, it means that no other predator can really touch it, and the Coeluruses provide protection to the Ornitholestes, creating a symbiotic relationship between the two of them. It's very likely, since Ornitholestes and Coelurus actually did share an environment in real life, that this was possibly a relationship that carried on in the prehistoric era as well. Many paleontologists for a while even thought that Coelurus was dubious with Ornitholestes, considering they have a very similar body plan. Although real-life studies have showed, of course, the Coelurus is a little bit different. But maybe this would explain how these two creatures got along in real life. Instead of working against each other, they worked with each other. But this leads to a few more questions. Like, if they did coexist in real life and this symbiotic relationship was a real-life occurrence, then how do they build up the tolerance to the venom? If you guys remember, the Ornitholestes has snake DNA in it. Venomous snake DNA in it, meant to fill in the gaps left in the genome. So if it's an Ingen attribute, then why does the Coelurus have a tolerance? There isn't anything in the Coelurus's DNA that would prevent it from being affected by the venom. This has led to a lot of speculation in the paleontology community, as well as people who just follow these dinosaurs to see why in the hell the Coelurus is somehow immune. Some people believe that the Ornitholestes may have just had some sort of venom in real life, and that the snakes really didn't change much. And that seems like a likely theory, but I won't get too far into it because we're talking about the Coelurus in this episode. Back onto them, Coeluruses have a very weird behavior that involves greeting each other. To do so, Coeluruses roll around in the dirt, and a lot of people think this is a way for them to say to other Coeluruses that, hey, this is me, I'm part of your group. The dirt coat also works as a sort of bug repellent. You see, Coeluruses, as they are scavengers, will get a lot of bugs that flourish around them trying to eat the dead meat off their teeth or just the carcasses around them. So, to fight this, the Coeluruses will roll around in mud or dry dirt as a sort of repellent, like I said earlier. Not only does it work as an extra coat, but it also works as a sort of crushing mechanism. If the bugs are attached to the Coelurus's skin, all they need to do is quickly roll around in the dirt, and boom, they're dead. As a real-life correlation, some birds are known to do things similar, but none do it to the extent that the Coelurus does. Funnily enough, Coeluruses have actually been seen trying to pick birds out of the sky by jumping up and trying to grab them. Similar to the Gallimimus that we covered earlier this season, it seems that creatures like Coelurus have some sort of social circle which involves hierarchies of established members in their little groups. This Coelurus possesses an alpha-like role. Earlier, it was the first one to eat and did not let any of the other creatures nearby eat until it did. This is also the only Coelurus out of the two that has feathers, which probably means either some form of sexual dimorphism or an alpha-like status, or both. Possibly like a male lion's mane, it's possible the feathers are a form of symbolism to show dominance amongst its pack members. But that's all I have on the curious Coelurus. Thank you all for watching this episode, and next time we're going to be looking at a ceratopsian that has a lot of oddities behind it. But until then, remember, if something chases you, run.